created a fake miserable childhood, lied about struggling through life, pretended I supported my parents financially, and used it to gain my girlfriend's sympathy until she learned I'm a pathological liar, living off a huge allowance, a paid-off luxury apartment, and a life I never earned. My parents are wealthy, not billionaire level or anything, but very comfortable. They paid for my apartment. They paid for my car. I have an allowance that covers more than most people's monthly income. I've never had to worry about anything except stupid things like whether my cleaning lady mixed up my laundry. I had a normal childhood too. Not neglected, not abusive, just boring, sheltered, and easy. I lied because I didn't think anyone would look twice at me if they knew the truth. My girlfriend grew up in a very different world. Real hardship, real instability. She worked young. She took care of her siblings. She earned everything the hard way. When I met her, I instantly felt inferior in every way that mattered. She was grounded, strong, and didn't seem impressed by flashy things. So I created the version of myself that I thought she'd respect. The guy who understood struggle. The guy who was grateful for every small thing. The guy who pulled himself up. She believed every detail. She even said she admired me for how I handled everything life threw at me. I didn't feel proud hearing that. I felt relieved that the lie was working. It all fell apart in about 5 minutes. She went out shopping with a friend and walked into some high-end boutique, one of those places where the cheapest thing is still insane. That's where she ran into my mother, my real mother, the one who has never set foot in a discount store in her life. My mom apparently started talking before she thought. Mentioned how I never ask her for things anymore, which she says makes her feel useless. Mentioned she would have bought me whatever necklace my girlfriend was looking at. Mentioned she hasn't seen me in a while because I'm busy with the apartment, the one she helped me pick out and fully paid off. And of course, she had to bring up the trust fund, and the allowance, and the car. My girlfriend came home looking like she was about to explode. She didn't ease into it. She didn't ask questions. She already knew. She laid everything out and asked why I built a relationship off lies. And I'll be honest, I didn't grovel or pretend I had some noble reason. I told her straight that people exaggerate parts of their life all the time. I told her she liked the version of me she saw. I told her the lie didn't hurt her physically, and the relationship itself was real. She didn't care about any of that. She said I used her trauma for sympathy. Said I made her feel guilty about money when I was the one with endless financial support. She said she felt like an idiot defending me to her friends every time I made myself sound like I grew up in misery. She walked out without saying she was ending things, but she made it clear she wasn't staying in the same space as me. I get why she's angry. I'm angry too, but for different reasons. I hate that she looks at me like she never knew me. I hate that everyone acts like being rich automatically makes me some spoiled cartoon character. I hate how fast everything flipped on me. I don't know if this relationship is salvageable. I don't know if it should be. But I also don't want to lose her over something that started, because I felt insecure. I don't know how to fix it without feeling like I'm bowing down and humiliating myself. I'm not doing that. But I also don't want to pretend none of this happened. So I'm here asking for something simple. How do you even begin to repair something when the entire foundation was a lie, but you're not willing to act pathetic to earn forgiveness? Update 1. I didn't think she'd go straight to my parents behind my back. I only found out because my mother called me early that morning asking if everything was okay and if I'd gotten into some sort of fight. She sounded confused, not angry at first, so I knew something was off. She told me my girlfriend had shown up at their house unannounced, which already had me furious. I don't care how upset she was that was crossing a line. But what got me even more heated was the way my mother described the whole thing. She said my girlfriend walked in acting like she was doing an investigation, asking direct questions about whether I'd grown up poor, whether my parents struggled, whether I financially supported them, and whether I'd told them she believed we were building a life without relying on them. My mother thought she was joking at first, because nothing she said matched reality. She even laughed awkwardly, thinking my girlfriend was making some sarcastic comment about the stories I told. But my girlfriend wasn't joking, and the more she pressed, the more confused my parents got. That's when my father stepped in. He already has a short fuse and hates anything that makes him look incompetent or irresponsible. So the second he understood what she was asking, he started getting annoyed. He basically told her I'd always been dramatic and liked to make myself sound like a survivor, even though I had everything handed to me. According to my mom, he didn't hold back. He got into all the details of how much he pays for me, how often he helps me out, and how much he's done to set me up for success. He also mentioned things I thought they'd forgotten, like how I lied in school about barely having enough for food, or how I told one of my exes I paid my own tuition. He even told her about the time I exaggerated being kicked out of the house just so I could stay at a friend's place for a weekend and get attention for it. I wasn't there, but I can picture him doing it like he always does, not out of concern for me, but because he hates the idea of anyone thinking he didn't provide. My girlfriend left their house shaking with anger. She didn't even text me. She just showed up at my place, walked in looking like she was about to explode, and started listing every single thing she heard. She said she felt stupid, like she'd built her entire view of me around a version of my life that didn't exist. She brought up how I'd used her real childhood struggles to make myself look humble when I didn't deserve it. She said she felt manipulated, embarrassed, and ashamed of herself for believing any of it. I didn't just sit there and take it. I told her she wasn't seeing the whole picture. I told her everyone exaggerates, and that I had reasons for not wanting to be seen as some entitled rich kid who never earned anything. I told her she wasn't perfect either, and she had her own issues she conveniently didn't talk about. That didn't help. It made her even angrier. She said I had dragged her trauma into my narrative and used it as some bonding tool. She said she couldn't trust anything I said anymore. She walked out again, but this time she didn't say she needed space. She said she didn't know if she could come back at all. I thought that was the end of it for at least a few days, but things spiraled fast. Her sister texted me later, calling me every name you'd expect. She said I'd broken her sister down emotionally, and that I deserved whatever was coming. Then my cousin called me because my girlfriend had apparently reached out to him, thinking maybe he could make me be honest for once. He took her side immediately, telling me I went too far this time and that nobody could defend the lies I told. I'm angry. I won't pretend I'm not. I'm angry at my girlfriend for going to my parents like I was some case to be solved. I'm angry at my father for humiliating me just to protect his image. I'm angry at everyone acting like I murdered someone when the only thing I did was create a version of myself that people seem to like more than the real one. My parents are furious with me too, but not for the reasons you'd think. They're not upset that I lied. They're upset that I made them look bad. My father especially is livid. He said I embarrassed the family and dragged their name into my attention-seeking habits. Update 2. After she walked out the last time, I spent a couple days going back and forth between anger and trying to convince myself I didn't care. But the truth is, the whole thing felt like it was hanging over my head no matter what I did. And I kept thinking that maybe part of the reason everything blew up so badly was because stuff was being dragged out piece by piece. So I decided to do the one thing I never thought I'd do. I wrote out everything I've ever lied about, not a half confession, not the version where I leave out the parts that make me look pathetic. I listed every single thing from high school onward, the made-up stories about working multiple jobs, the fake family struggles, the supporting my parents financially, the exaggerated stuff I told friends long before I even met her. I typed it all out because I figured maybe if she saw I wasn't trying to dodge anything, she'd at least stop acting like I was trying to manipulate her every second of the day. I sent it as a long message, not dramatic, not begging, just the truth finally, without me trying to spin it to make myself look better, and I thought maybe she'd appreciate that because she kept saying she couldn't trust me. So here, full transparency, all of it. She didn't appreciate it, she read it, and basically told me I made her sick. She said reading it felt like confirmation that the person she got to know wasn't real. She accused me of using other people's pain to make myself look interesting, and told me she felt stupid for ever feeling sorry for me. I didn't expect a warm reaction, but I didn't expect the level of disgust she came at me with. It felt like she was trying to make me the most unforgivable person alive, and maybe I deserved some of it, but I just hit a point where I couldn't listen to her talk to me like I was a monster. Yeah, I lied, a lot, but I wasn't doing some long con to ruin her life. I wasn't trying to get anything out of her except respect and attention, which I'm not saying is noble, but it wasn't destructive the way she's trying to paint it. It felt like she was talking to me like she'd never done anything wrong in her life. For a couple days, I was angry at her all over again. Not regret, not guilt, just anger. It felt like I was getting punished over and over while everybody else got a pass for their own crap. I didn't even want to talk to her at that point. Then one of my friends made a comment that stopped me dead. He said he thought it was messed up that she told people I guilted her out of taking a better job last year because I needed help with the rent. I had no idea what he was talking about. I never asked her to turn that job down. That job was in another city, and she was the one who said the move wouldn't work for her mentally. It was never about me or money or anything like that. At first I thought maybe my friend misunderstood or got it mixed up, but the way he said it, he was sure, and it kept bothering me because it didn't line up with the way things actually happened. So I went back and looked at old texts, old messages, just to see if I somehow said something that could be twisted. I didn't find anything. It was exactly how I remembered. She chose not to take it because she didn't want to move somewhere unfamiliar. There was never a conversation where I asked her to stay. So yeah, I confronted her. Calm this time. I just told her what I heard and asked her why she would tell people that version of it. She tried to deny it at first, but she cracked pretty fast. She said she wasn't trying to make me look bad. She just didn't want anyone to know the real reason she turned the job down. She said she was scared that if she moved, I'd cheat or find someone better, and she'd end up alone in a city with no support. She didn't want to admit that to anyone because it made her feel stupid and insecure. And that hit me harder than I expected, because while she's been calling me manipulative and dramatic and acting like she's the pillar of honesty, she's been doing a quieter version of the same thing. She spun a story to get sympathy too, just in a different direction. She let everyone think she was the one making sacrifices for her poor, struggling boyfriend, while hiding the part where she was scared of losing me. I'm not pretending it levels the playing field. My lies were bigger and louder and built into who I pretended to be, but it made something very clear. Neither of us came into this relationship as our actual selves. We both used insecurity to shape the version of the relationship we wanted other people to see. Right now, I'm sitting here trying to figure out if there's anything left worth saving. Update 3. After my last update, both sides found out that she and I tried to talk things out. We weren't magically fixed or suddenly good, but we were trying to be honest. That was enough to set off alarms on her side. Her mother called her constantly, asking if she was getting sucked back into something. My parents didn't even pretend to hide their anger toward me. My father made it clear he was tired of dealing with the fallout of my lies, and my mother was stressed because she didn't want people thinking they were cold or neglectful. Their solution was to drag everyone into the same room so nobody could twist anything anymore. I didn't want this. I knew it would go badly, but once my father decides something, that's it. Her mother agreed right away, probably thinking she was going to walk in there and expose me like some criminal. Nobody was coming in with calm intentions. We met at my parents' house. The whole thing felt wrong from the second we walked in. My mother was trying too hard to act like this was a normal sit-down. My father had that look where he's already annoyed and ready to dominate the conversation. Her mother came in hot, tense, and already glaring. Her stepfather stayed quiet, but you could tell he didn't want to be there. My girlfriend's hands were shaking before we even sat. The plan was to clear the air, but within minutes it turned into everyone talking over each other. My mother tried to explain that they weren't broke and never asked me for financial help. Before she could even finish, her mother threw in comments about how embarrassing it was that her daughter believed all of my stories. That set my father off. He basically said she should have had more sense than to believe half of it anyway. It was humiliating hearing him say that in front of everyone, like he wasn't the one who raised me and watched me build these lies for years. My girlfriend broke down pretty quickly. Not loud crying, just quiet tears that made everything feel 10 times heavier. I tried to calm the situation by telling everyone to stop making me the punching bag, but that just made both mothers talk louder and faster. Then her mother went for the throat and mentioned the thing I learned in Update 2, her daughter lying about the job and making it sound like I held her back financially. That was the first moment everything flipped. My girlfriend told her mother to stop talking for her. Her mother didn't stop. She doubled down and started listing every time my girlfriend told her a twisted version of events. My girlfriend turned on her own mother, and things got even worse. From there, it became a free-for-all of secrets that should have never left the mouths of the people who originally heard them. My father brought up something from years ago, a time when I stole money from a family member to impress someone I had a crush on. I hadn't thought about that in years. He never should have shared it. My stomach sank when he said it, because I knew he didn't say it out of honesty. He said it to win. Then her mother dropped the emotional affair bomb. I had no idea about it until that moment. 2 years ago, apparently. It happened during a rough patch in her life. She never admitted any of that to me. Hearing it in front of everyone made my chest feel hollow. My mother started crying at this point because everything was unraveling so fast she couldn't keep up. My girlfriend couldn't take it anymore and stormed out of the house. I went after her because if I didn't, who knows what the parents would have continued saying behind our backs. Outside, we ended up arguing about whose lies were worse. It wasn't loud, just tight and angry. She said her lie was one mistake. I said mine was built out of insecurity, not cruelty. Neither of us sounded convincing. Both of us were grasping at anything to not feel like the villain. By the time we walked back in, both families were already pulling apart and blaming the other. My father told me the relationship needed to end. Her mother told her the same thing. Everyone seemed more focused on proving they were right than actually helping. I ended the day feeling like I wasn't just fighting with her, I was fighting against every single person in both families, everyone trying to mold the story into whatever made them feel better. I don't even know if I want to keep trying with her, or if I just hate the idea of losing a relationship I built so much of my identity around. I'm not ending things in this update because things are too fresh and too chaotic, but I'm not pretending we're fine either. I honestly don't know what tomorrow looks like for either of us. Final update. I'm calling this the last update because there's nothing left to fix and nothing left to fight about. Me and my ex ended it a little over 2 weeks ago, and honestly, it was quiet, almost awkward, which felt strange after months of blow-ups, family arguments, and every lie in my life getting dragged into the open. There wasn't some big scene, we just sat there, both tired, both knowing we'd burned the whole thing to the ground. We admitted we can't trust each other, and that what we had wasn't real. We loved versions of each other that didn't exist. There was no point forcing anything after that. The breakup wasn't even the worst part. What came after hit harder. My father cut my allowance almost immediately. Not fully, he's not throwing me out or anything, but he said I needed to learn how to live in the real world. He didn't do some dramatic speech. He just said he'd cover the basics, and the rest was on me until I stopped acting like life was something happening around me instead of something I'm responsible for. My mother tried to calm him down, but it didn't change anything. Within a week, I had to actually look at my bills. I had to apply for jobs. I had to accept that I've gone my whole life without building any actual skills. I wasn't struggling financially, but mentally it felt like I'd been dropped into cold water. I realized how dependent I really was. My ex told her friends the whole truth too, which didn't surprise me. I'm the villain in most versions people are hearing, and that's fine. Some of her friends apparently turned on her as well when they learned she'd lied to them about the job situation and a few other things. None of it matters now, but I guess it shows we weren't the stable, wholesome couple she made us look like online. We both contributed to the mess. I'm not going to sit here pretending she destroyed me or anything she didn't, but she definitely wasn't the perfect victim a few people painted her as. Our families aren't talking anymore. Everyone is pretending the other side doesn't exist. My mother texted me a few times telling me therapy might not be the worst option. I haven't answered, not because I'm being rebellious, but because I honestly don't know what I'd even talk about. I lied. A lot. For years. That's already out in the open. I can't undo it, and I'm not going to start performing guilt for anyone's approval. My ex's family told her she needs to stop dating project men, and that was apparently directed at both versions of me, the one I pretended to be and the one I actually am. I don't care. I'm not trying to win anyone over anymore. I've started working. Nothing impressive. It's a regular job, just enough to cover the things my father stopped paying for. I'm irritated most days, not because of the work itself, but because everything feels like I'm years behind everyone my age. I'm learning basic things people should have learned at 18, not now. I won't pretend I'm walking some new path of growth or redemption. Right now, it's survival, not self-improvement. But I'm doing it. Last week, my father called. He said watching me manage on my own is the first time he's felt hopeful about me in years. He said he'll reconsider the full allowance once I show I can function without the family money backing every step I make. I don't know how to take that. It didn't feel like a punishment. It felt like he's finally forcing me to confront the fact that I've been play acting a life instead of living one. As for the breakup itself, I don't regret it. I regret the lies. I regret how far I took the persona. I regret how much effort I poured into trying to be someone I liked instead of being someone I actually was. But losing the relationship? No. It was built on sand. I think we both knew it long before everything blew up. Right now, I'm rebuilding my life from a place I've never had to stand before. Not financially, I still have a safety net even with the allowance cut, but emotionally. When everything you present to the world is fake, it's hard to look in the mirror once the mask drops. And I don't think I like the version of myself I'm getting to know. But at least I'm not lying about it anymore. This is the last update. There's nothing dramatic left to happen. We're done. The families are done. The fallout is already in motion. All that's left is dealing with whatever version of adulthood I'm finally being forced into.